Right, so since we have this done now, and it's time to build our main assembly, we're going to go ahead and create a new document. So I'm going to say new document, new design document. Zoom out a little bit, why not? And here I'm going to start by including a standard. So I'm going to go there to include standard, and I'm going to go down to my 3D standard. I'll go down to machine fixtures, go to my tombstones, my four-sided tombstones, say OK. And here what I want to do is I want to simply add it right onto my top of my coordinate system. So I'm just going to click right there, and that locks it in place. I'm going to hit stop, other component. Now I'm going to other component because I also have some fixture rails that I tend to use. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, and here's my fixture rail. Now what I want to do is I want to lay my fixture rails out maybe vertically on my tombstone, maybe horizontally, don't know yet. So I'm just going to click to locate it. Pardon me, I'm not going to click. In this case, if I just pick a point on the screen, or on the face I want to machine, it dimensions to the center of the part. I can say 90 degrees if I want. Pardon me, if I go here, I can say stop and then say 90 degrees to rotate it. But instead, what I want to do is I want to use just regular assembly mating. So I'm going to say other positioning, drop it in. Let's maybe change some colors around here. And what I want to do is I want to take this face, and let me back up at the top of the screen. The software is set to automatic positioning for the mating. For 90% of what you're doing, this is all you'll need. So I'm going to say, or leave it on auto, I'm going to select the face that I want to mate on the part, and then the destination face. So here I'm going to select this face. Okay? Now, what I want to do, I'm going to say OK. I'm going to select maybe this bottom face here and bring it to one of my fixture pins. Maybe I'll bring it to this top one. Okay? And what I want to do here is I want an alignment. No, maybe I want to mate. Well, we'll keep it alignment. Why not? The next thing that I want to do, I'm going to say OK, is I want to take this face to this face. And by selecting that face, what that does is that applies an alignment, and you can see it's off to one side. I'm going to type maybe 0.5 to get it centered. And so now this bottom face here, or pardon me, this top face here, is tangent to one of my drillings, and our fixture block is up where we need it to be. Now what I'm going to do is say OK and stop, and here I am going to do a propagation because I'm going to have 4 of them in total. So I'm going to say that I want circular, Z positive, 360, total of 4. Okay? Now, next, I'm going to go ahead and bring in one of my parts to cut, and then I'll insert another set of these after. So I'm going to go to my assembly icon bar and choose include subassembly / part, and I'm just going to choose part to machine. Now, the reason this is in the list is because that document is actually open already back here. If the document wasn't open, this wouldn't show up, and you'd have to explore the document to insert it. So I'm going to say part to machine is that, and I'm just going to click to drop it in here, and now I'm going to start applying my mates. For example, I want to take this bottom face, and I want to apply it to this face here. Okay? Maybe we'll move my compass over here to make it a little simpler. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to take this face and attach it to this face here. Now you can see it inverted it, right? We don't want that. I'm going to switch back to mate, just by toggling. Alright, I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to take this face to the outside of my fixture bar here, but offset it 1 inch in. And like that, I'm going to simply say OK. I'm going to say stop, and here I'm not going to make a pattern. Eventually I will make a pattern, but I'd rather make that inside of TopSolid'Cam after I create all the machining I need for this part. The only thing I need to do is I need to add another one of my fixture bars. So I'm going to say no propagation. I'm going to hit escape. And let's go ahead to include standard again. You can get it from this icon bar or from here. Doesn't matter. I'm going to grab my fixture bar. I'm going to say OK. I'm going to say other positioning. Dump it in there. I'm going to take this face, put it on this face here. I'm going to say OK. I'm going to take this side face here to this face of my part. Say OK, and I'm going to take this face to this face. So now everything is laid out the way I want it. We're good to go. I'm going to say OK, stop, and if I back up here real quick, instead of setting up my pattern again, I want to use the same pattern as I used up here. I'm just going to go ahead and select that. And now we've laid out the pattern as we need it here. Now, this is fine. On two sides of this tombstone, we're going to machine the first side. But on the back side and this side, maybe we want to machine the back of the part. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and lay that out as well. All I'm going to do is say include standard, part to machine again. I'm going to dump it back here. Send that home maybe. And now for my positioning, instead of the bottom face here, I'm going to choose this face. Let's rotate this around to this face. I'm going to say OK. I'm going to say this face to this face here, and I'm going to switch it to mate. I'm going to say OK. And now I'm going to take this face to this face and offset it an inch in. And again, I'm going to say OK. And at that point, we're done. So now we're ready to bring this into TopSolid'Cam and start cutting these parts. So I'm going to hit save once, and we'll call this Fixture Assembly of Part 2 Machine, whatever the name of your part is.